Hi, this video we're going to work on recursion in Python. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start with an example, and then I'll talk about how the example works. So we're going to create a function called listSum, passing in a list, call it numList. What we want to do is add up all the values that are stored in the list. So if the length of numList equals 1, then we're going to return numList 0. Else, we're going to return numList 0 plus listSum numList 1 colon. And I'll explain what all this is doing in a minute. We'll just go ahead and get it created, and then we'll run it and see what happens. Oh, wait a minute, let me get this right here. Okay. Parentheses, then bracket 1, 3, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. Two parentheses here. There we go. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this saved. And go to where I want to save it here. Go. And call it listSum.py. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and you'll see, let's make sure I don't have any errors in it. And I do. So listSum, numList. Oh, print. listSum. See if that works better. There we go. We get 25. Okay, so how do we get to 25? Well, let's put a print statement in here. We're going to print our numList every time it does this else part on here. So this is what happens. As we're going through the list here, the first time through, our list is not equal to 1. It's actually equal to 1, the length of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it comes down here, and it returns numList 0, but it can't return that yet because it has to do this first. So it calls listSum, passing in all the numbers except for this one in position 0, 1 colon. So that's where we get to 3, 5, 7, 9. Calls this again, it's not equal to 1. So it comes down here, returns numList 0 plus the list without the first value again, so we get the 5, 7, 9. Calls it again, not equal to 1, comes down here, returns numList 0 plus this again. We have to calculate out this first, so it passes in size of 2. Still not equal to 1, so it passes in, so it's got 7, 9, it's not equal to 1. So it comes down here and does it again. Numlist 0 plus listSum of 1 colon, which is now the 9. It is now equal to 1, so it returns numList 0, okay, which is the 9. Then it backs up 1. We have the 9 here, adds the 7. Then we back up 1. We have the 16 plus the 5 is 21. We back up 1. The 21 plus the 3 is 24. We back up 1. The 24 plus the 1 is 25. So that's how this works. Now, a little bit more code than what you would normally do if you were adding up a list. Do that pretty quick in a for loop. So, but this is a good example on how recursion works. So let's go ahead and do the next one. So I'm going to open up another blank file here and close this one off. And what we're going to do with this one, let me get it open here, mine. Is we're going to write a function that will convert a number and a base into a string. So we're gonna input a number. Say we input 5, and the base is 2. It should then return 101. So let's write the function here. We call it toStr, passing in the number and a base. We're going to use a variable called a convert string. That's going to contain all the possible characters for bases 0 or 2 through 16. Then we're going to check our base case. If n is less than base, and I didn't talk about this yet, so I'll do this after I do this one here. Return convert string of n. Else, we're going to return toStr of n mod base, or divided by base, plus convert string of n mod base. So let's go ahead and create our main, and then I'll explain all this. So our number is going to be equal to an int input enter the number. Our base is going to be equal to an int input enter the base. And then we're going to print number in base is, and then toStr passing in number and base. Okay, so let me explain what's going on here, and then we'll run this. First of all, you need at least three things when you're doing recursion. First thing is that you need a base case. This is the base case here, stating that n is less than base. You then need a call to the same function, which we have right here, the toString, passing in n divided by base and base. Then the third thing you have to have is something that will eventually get to where the base case becomes true, and that's our n integer division base. Eventually this will get down to where n is less than the base and it will drop out. So let's run this. I gotta save it here first. I'm going to save this as toStr.py. Okay, let's run this, see if I got any errors in here. Enter a number. I'm going to put in I'm going to put in 5, and the base is going to be 2, and so 5 in base 2 is 101. Okay, so how this worked. Takes the 5 is not less than 2, so it does the return down here. It calls toString again, passing in n, or 5, integer division 2, which is going to be 2, and the base. Okay, we can't do this yet over here. So it comes back up and puts those in there. So now 2 is not less than the base, so it returns toString the 2 mod base. and base again. This is going to divided by 2. Sorry, 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. Comes back up. 1 is not less than, or 1 is less than 2. So it's going to return convert string n, which comes down to here. N is 1 plus convert string that we had from this one, which was the 2, and 2 mod 2 is 1. I'm off by 1 here, but what it comes down to, it's a little hard to follow on here, but it returns the 1, then it returns the 0, which was the that's what it was. Yeah, it returns the 2, and the 2 mod 2 is 0 because it's a remainder, and then the next one is the 5 mod 2, which is 1. So then you end up with because it's the remainder, so you end up with the 1, 0, 1 on there. Okay. So I'm going to try something here and see if this will work. I'm going to print n here so we can see how this works on here. I'm going to have to, I'll put in my values here. I'm going to put in my 5 again and my 2. So there's the 5 and then the 2. And then it gets down to where it's 1, which is less than the base, so it doesn't print it out on there. So it would be the 5 mod 2, which is 1, the 2 mod 2, which is 0, and the 1 mod 2, which is 1. And that's where you get the numbers on there. So hopefully you understood all this that I talked about on here. So we're going to do one more here. And this one is going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to use a stack for this instead. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file here and close this one off. So in this one, now you have to have a stack in your folder. Okay, from the last week that we created. Well, this is going to be repeat on here. We're going to set up an R stack, which is going to be equal to stack dot stack our convert string, which is equal to our 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. So now we're going to do a while loop. While n is greater than 0, that's going to be our, type things in here, our base case. If n is less than base, our stack dot push convert string n. Else our stack dot push convert string n mod base. And then n equals n equals n divided by base. Okay, res is going to be equal to while not r stack dot is empty, res equals res plus str r stack dot pop. Then we return res. Okay, so now we're going to create our main. Number is going to be equal to int input enter the number, base is going to be equal to int input, enter the base, and then we're going to print number in base is to str number base. Okay, so let's save this. Come back, we'll save it, and then I'll come back and explain this to you. I'm going to save this as stackstring.py. See if I got any errors in here. Oh, there we go. First error there, I forgot that I needed to, didn't forget, but I just haven't done it yet. Copy my stack into my folder. Okay, so let's see if this runs now. Once it gets done copying here. Don't know why it's not doing that. Try it again. Okay, got it copied. Another error. One more time. Okay, so I'm going to put in my 5 and my base 2, and we get our 101. Okay, so this is not doing recursion. This is doing using a stack instead. But what we do here is, while n is greater than 0, that's our number, we're gonna check to see if n is less than our base. If it's not less than our base, then we're going to push the convert string n mod base. So we have a 5 because that's what our n is. Mod base is 1, so it's going to put a 1 in there. Then it's going to reduce n 5 mod base, or divided by base, sorry. So it's going to be 2. Okay, come back up to the while loop. 2 is not greater than 2 is greater than 0, so we'll go back into the while loop. 2 is not less than 2, so we'll go down here again, and we'll push 2 mod base, 2 mod 2, which is 0, so we will put a 0 in the stack. Now, 2 mod base is 1, so now it's going to do 1 is greater than 0. So if 1 is less than base, it is. So now it's going to put convert string n, which is 1, so it's going to put a 1 there. So now on our stack we have a 1, a 0, and a 1. Okay. So now it's going to come back down here again and do n equals n divided by base. 1 divided by 2, integer division is 0. 0 is not greater than 0, so we'll drop out. And now it's going to pop them all off, which is going to be the 101, and that's what it returns in the RES. Okay. So hopefully you understand all that, and no problems with that. If you have problems, then you can talk to your instructor about this. But anyway, gives you an idea of how recursion works. So I hope this was beneficial for you. Bye.